the stars. I am coming live today on Facebook because there has been a lot of stories I've been hearing over the course of the last week. And these stories have been very inspirational. And these are from people that are clients of mine, friends of mine, part of my network. One being Julianne Santini, who is one of the authors of the Shaman Heart and a new book that's just been published on Amazon. And the other is one of my clients, I won't say her name, but her story and the courage it takes to share these true stories about ourselves is truly inspiring. So I thought I'd come on today and give you an astrological forecast for the next coming week and just kind of an overview and also some words of inspiration because the new moon we had on April 1st was all about the self. Aries, all about the self, had Mercury with it. So communicating about yourself, telling your stories, and Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries, right next all this together on this new moon in Aries on April 1st. And so this theme continues to grow and inspire us to step out of our comfort zone, to look at the healing side of things rather than we can identify the pain, but to identify the healing side, meaning the trauma and what what was the hindsight story afterward? How did this strengthen you? So I'm going to go ahead and do the astrological forecast and talk about that just a little bit. And then the Chiron exercises that I wrote years ago that have to do with Chiron and Aries. So the Aries new moon first, I want to say everyone is looking at themselves in a different way or deciding I need to change. I need to, especially um, moving toward the end of this month because we have a solar eclipse that's going to be coming in. So we're moving into eclipse season, which is always a signature, carries a signature of major change. So, but this month of Aries is all about being courageous, about looking at yourself and finding all the wonderful qualities in that are where your strengths are. So, I want to just share with you a little bit about the upcoming most current trends we're in. Sun is going to be conjunct and giving a square to Pluto coming up. So this could be some conflict, some major issues that could be about our president and his family. And it could also be that this is the beginning, from the beginning of the month, that this has been going on. And it's going to continue to about the 18th of April. Normally, the sun does square Pluto twice a year because Pluto is in Capricorn. And then it's going to square the north node at 23 degrees. Now, Saturn is at 23 degrees also. And on the 18th, we have the transiting moon conjunct the south node. And so we've got some really volatile energy. And so it's really important that we remember that we individually have strength that adds to the whole. Aries is all about the pioneer, the courageous one, the leader. It can sometimes bring impatience, and it can also be overwhelming to some of the more earthly people that are out there. So, but what these energies are going to bring with Saturn squaring the nodes, the north node and the south node of the moon, the future and the past, so to speak, I think is going to bring up some issues surrounding our belief system, financial matters, a lot of financial matters, in fact, And we could see some crazy fluctuations in the stock market. We do have a lot of tension building in the United States because gas has gone through the roof with the prices, and food is outrageously rising in the cost. So these things are affecting us on a very personal level. And however, do remember though that this new moon is about action and motivation. So people are really right now feeling really motivated to break away and to develop, investigate some areas where they can change things in their lives. And as we get closer to April 16th, we have a full moon in Libra, and that is actually exact on April 16th. Now, normally a full moon in Libra is not a really big deal, but what is the most challenging is the square to Pluto. Sorry about that, I forgot to turn my phone off. Let me do that right now. So what I was saying earlier, that this is a super ignited full moon because the moon is, as it always is on a full moon, opposite the sun. And there's always tension that comes up around that, but there's also completion that comes around it. But we may not feel so much like that on this full moon because it is very stressed. There's a lot of tension. And we're going to have that full moon in Libra exactly squaring Pluto. And so that represents government agencies and corporation, which brings a lot of tumultuous tension. And so the Libra full moon has to do with the public. And this has to do probably with our government headquarters, the White House. There's the tension between Pluto in our second house of money and finances. And on the full moon, we have what we call a giant T square that is activating the United States financial sectors. So this can also, Libra is about partnerships, relationships, business relationships, personal relationships. And with this tension, this can bring conflict in partnerships. And and it can also, you might see some rebellion on a very personal level. It could be, again, personal conflicts and relationships that could come to an end. So here's the inspiration that I want to share with you all. There is something that you can do. And as I said earlier, I'm seeing so many people sharing their personal stories of trauma and overcome and healing. And I know those paths, each of us have our own story. And so if you can in any way share your story somehow with others, you're going to find that you get more support. And it's kind of scary to do that, as I said, but it's going to be a very healing thing for you and the people that read or hear your story. So here are the exercises. Chiron was right beside this new moon in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. So it could be a place where we have pain. It could be a place where we're attracting people to us because they share the same pain as we have shared and or we have had. And so these are exercises that you can do. They're called cognitive exercises. And if you're a person who's in a place of leadership, a place that you're in business for yourself, or you're just really striking out on a new venture and want to optimize yourself in ways. So Chiron in the first house is feelings of pain come through as a sense of self, or you as a person has been violated in some way, which can manifest in feelings of worthlessness and or that nothing is quite good enough. The part of healing with Chiron in this place is in learning to assert yourself and be more assertive with appropriate actions to solve situations. Another part of the healing with this Chiron is in learning to appreciate yourself and others just for who you are and who they are. And you might find that there is a tendency right now to be more self sabotaging in your thought patterns. We do have a lot of Mercury activity that is building as this new moon energy continually shows its theme in our lives. So it's very important to realize that thoughts are very powerful and that we get out what we get back what we put out. So the gift of Chiron in Aries is in realizing your self-worth and love yourself for who you are inside. And there are some things you can do. You can use soaps or candles or incenses like frankincense, sandalwood, cedarwood, clove, or even just an infuser with some essential oils. Ormanus flower, neroli, juniper, Roman chamomile, geranium. Those are all very helpful scents as they inspire and encourage you. So cognitive exercises that you can do can bring about really great feelings where you had pain before is, and I can email this to you if you're interested in having it for yourself for free. Write down on a list of areas of your life where you feel you're valuable. Just keep listing and listing and listing. Now, write down how that value helps you and helps others. Write down times when others have treated you badly. Now, for each item on the above list, write down how that experience helped you learn how to assert yourself and realize how valuable you are. And as you work through these exercises, you're going to find that you gain a key of feeling good, of healing, and realizing how very valuable you are as a person, and that positive, assertive responses bring healing. And as I'm talking, I'm reminded about another story that I read this week about someone who I'm working with very closely right now. And we don't all have easy beginnings. We all have these times where we're walking through shadows in our life. So, this exercise is actually one that can help anybody in this world at this time. And it might refer to, based on your chart, different areas where this self healing is happening. And so that's why I'm offering it up today. So, everyone, thanks for watching. And if you'd like to have this exercise, I'm happy to send it to you for free. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.